This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
I wanted to tell you a story. When we first moved to Seattle, I was 3 years old, and several days after we'd actually moved in, or maybe it was the same day, I remember my dad had given me limits. I could only walk to the end of the block and around the 2 alleys on either side of my block. And this day I was walking down the alley, very proud that we had bought this new house, and I had a little parasol, little Japanese parasol over my shoulder. And I was walking down this alley, and this older girl came up to me and asked who I was. And I told her my name is Pearl Jean, and that we just moved from Iowa. And she looked at me and jumped and grabbed my parasol and ripped it right in front of my very eyes and said, "Welcome to the neighborhood," laughing. And I saw red, and I jumped on her, and I kicked, and I bit, and I scratched, and I pulled hair, and nobody ever messed with me again. I guess part of that was because I did have an older brother, but that really kind of set the stage for the neighborhood that knew that little Pearl Jean might be little, but little Pearl Jean could be a fury. Anyway, that's just one of the stories that I thought you might enjoy hearing about, and it might explain why I am the way I am today. Anyway, there you go. My favorite book in high school, and the one I still read yearly, is a true story named Mrs. Mike. It was written in 1947 about a young woman from Boston with health issues who goes up into Canada to get healthy and ends up changing her life by marrying a Mountie, and the trials and blessings she encounters with raising a family there. I'm sure this was one of the strong allures of living in Canada for me, and actually probably was part of what led me there. My favorite movie is Moonstruck. It has everything that interests me. It's got great writing, wonderful actors, super location, engaging music, romance, comedy, family, including the elderly, and enduring love, with a pack of dogs thrown in to boot. In 1979, when I went to my 10-year high school reunion, I was pregnant with Anthony and didn't even know it. It was something that I had wanted very, very much, to have a child, and I loved being pregnant. I loved giving birth. My very good friend Judy was there to help me through it all. And I have never regretted one single moment being a mom. It's one of the loves of my life. I remember my mom asking her what has she loved the most about her life, and she said it was going dancing. And she said, "What about you?" And I had to admit that having Anthony was the biggest thing in my life. I love my James, and I'm so glad to be with him, but there's just something special about being a mom that just can't be recreated in any other way. And I'm so grateful that I got to have that opportunity to try and to raise this boy. And he's now 30 years old, and I adore him. You know, Diana and I met when I was in my 20s, and we ended up having our children about the same time. We married about the same time. We married men from the Czech Republic. We had our kids about the same time. And then we had problems with the men that we married and divorced about the same time. And then we're on our own for a long time. I raised Anthony for 7.5 years by myself, and it was interesting because we had a lot of fun. We were there for each other, as were all my women friends there for me. And there were lots of children around, and we just had a really good time and got to grow and learn about ourselves. And you know, we loved music, and we had the Eagles going all the time. Diana would come and spend time in the city with me, and I would go out in the country and spend time with her and her family. And we just always had music going, and there was Blue Rodeo and Bonnie Raitt and the Dire Straits. I mean, it was just an endless amount of music. We constantly had music going and a bottle of wine opened and a lot of laughter and a whole lot of love. And then it was wonderful because we went from there to meeting our guys. And Diana met Chuck and I met James, and we got together about the same time. I think she met Chuck a month after I met James. And then we had some time apart because we moved to Florida and she moved over to the island, and but we always have cared. We've always been in contact, as I have with many of my women friends. I've known Beverly since I was 5 years old. I've known Judy since I was 15. I've started to reconnect in the last couple of years with many girls, you know, that I went to grade school with, and now they're grown-up women just like me in their 60s, and that's been really, really cool. It's you know, it's not over till it's over. I can remember talking to my older neighbor Lydia and saying, Lydia, I just can't wait till I can't wait till I'm your age, because then I'll have it all together. And she said, Pearl, it doesn't work that way. You will be learning until the day you die. And it was like, wow, really? Okay. But I believed her because she was really cool. Very wonderful, wonderful woman. I've missed her too. She was my neighbor for 8 years, and anyway, I've had a good life. I love the people I know. Got to meet James's family. You know, it hasn't been that long ago, but man, a real connection. And you know, my cousin Susan, I mean, I met her when I was 18 once and didn't get to know her again till I was in my 40s. And gosh, I just feel so grateful that I have the people that I do in my life. And her daddy, my Uncle Sonny, wow. His mom, my Grandma Pearl, and Grandpa Earl. Can you imagine meeting Pearl and Earl met and married? I mean, how delightful is that? And we all spring from there, you know. We came from good stock. Grandma lived to be 98 and a half and lived with James and I just feel so blessed about that. And now I get to help my good friend, my Girl Scout leader, Joy, and get to be a part of that family. And, you know, life is really good. You never know quite where it's going to lead you, but I'll tell you, it's been a fun ride. And the best part is not only have I turned 60, but I'm now 10 years cancer-free. Yahoo! I thought you'd all like to hear that. It was 10 years ago at the end of June that I went through the last of my chemo. So, at any rate, I love you all. About James, my soulmate, my best friend, and love of my life. We met in our late 30s dancing, and his wild, crazy moves on the dance floor still brings a big smile to my heart. His constant encouragement has led to my being a manager in a shipping firm, an artist, and starting my own business as a vacation rental owner. And most of all, he's taught me to live a healthy, spiritual life. And no dream is too big. So live your dreams and enjoy my favorite song of James singing and playing, Humans Are the Best Disguise. And listen as we say our daily sutras from our morning prayers. Love is all there is, dear friends, and you are well loved.
Underground, huddle closely, waiting for some old spare parts. Never speak and seldom sleep and wait for last year they crashed their spaceship. Now they cannot go back home. They must hide beneath the airport until they have learned to clone. Under the airport those aliens are waiting. Under the airport those aliens are waiting. Don't try to catch them, 'cause they'll just float away. There's no need to worry, 'cause they'll be like us someday. Be like us someday. If they can locate some kidneys, if they can locate some eyes, then they will survive forever. Humans are the very best disguise. Under the airport.
Aham Brahmasmi. I am the core of the universe. Tat Tavam Asi. I am that. Sat Chit Ananda. Truth, knowledge, bliss. Sankalpa. My intentions organize the universe. Moksha. I am emotionally free. Shiva Shakti. I am giving birth to the God inside me. Re Tom. I am flowing in the cosmic dance.